Okay, so Black Clover chapter 321 speculations. Now, I'm going to speculate what's going to happen in the next chapter, and to be honest, I didn't like this new chapter like very much. For me, the previous chapter was more enjoyable. It had decent paneling of the fights. It had like overall pretty general good image of Lucifer, but now it all just fell down the hill. So anyway, since the attention is focusing on Lucifer, I don't think we are going to switch it at all. Now, first, I think that the battle between Yuno and Lucifer will be even. Yes, I think that the battle between Yuno and Lucifer will not going to be one-sided. Maybe for not too long. Would be even for maybe the first battles, then Lucifer will start show off his real power, or maybe through the health chapter, to the health remaining pages of chapters. Now, I believe as an arcane stage magician, Yuno should be able to fight on an equal footing with Lucifer. Well, not on an equal footing, maybe like on an equal footing with Lucifer, who is not showing his real powers. But once Lucifer shows his real power, he will like maybe 50% of Lucifer's power, Yuno will start to get quiet. It will be hard for Yuno to grasp on the power of Lucifer and try to match it on. But the star magic is big, man. You need to understand it has high potentials. And if it were to be applicated, I think the perfect one, it's not going to be Zenon. Zenon was a perfect candidate for sure, as to get to know your own power, but I think that Lucifer will be the perfect candidate to understand, to try to experiment, which Yuno lacks against a quiet and deadly opponent like Lucifer. So on and so forth. I do not actually see Yuno managing to master the star magic in such a short period of time in this arc. Because come on, already gave him the crown. He's Wizard King level. If he can defeat people even Magic Knight's captains cannot defeat. Like come on, give him the crown. So I think Tubala will balance up the fight between Lucifer and Yuno, which makes him actually experience more with his star magic. Gets to maybe awaken new spells, something like that. That actually can overwhelm Lucifer, but star magic is big. Listen, star magic is really big. It has one downside, which is the teleportation one. It's good to damage and surprise attack, which they need the most against Lucifer, but probably Lucifer gravity will just crush the star right off. It's just gonna crush the star right off. Wind with the spirit of Zephyr, it's deadly as all hell. It's deadly as all hell. He's actually arcane stage now, so he can damage Lucifer, which actually Lucifer will be cautious of. So he is not cautious of the other Magic Knight captains because they are not arcane stage. Lucifer refuses to accept and recognize Asta as an arcane stage because he has no trace of magic. So he will respect and he will recognize Yuno as a threat, as an arcane magician against the boilers, against him. It's easy, it's as easy as that. You cannot deny anymore, Lucifer, that there are people who can damage you. You are denying Asta, fair enough, deny him, but you cannot deny Yuno, he have magic. He have actually two magics now. Yuno will push Lucifer to show his real power, that's what I'm betting on. Also, maybe he will gain Lucifer respect. Again, since Asta and Yuno negate each other and they are the opposite of each other, one have mana, the other doesn't, one have anti-magic, the other doesn't, devil, spirit of something like that, you know. So maybe that will fall on Lucifer's take on them both, case, if you know what I mean. So maybe Lucifer will like, okay, listen, Lucifer hates and holds no respect to Asta. Well, maybe after the next chapter he will respect, or maybe through the mid chapter he will respect the arcane stage powerful magician Yuno Granbell. Second, I think that Asta maybe will experience and try to awaken his true power. Maybe something like Yuno's, or yes, it will be something like, or maybe I'm not gonna try to make my hopes up, to get my hopes very high this time, but maybe he will like experience something like Yuno did once awakening his Fate Kingdom real power. But I think it's still too early for that. It's still like way too early for that. Third, I believe either William or Yami will awaken and help Yuno. I believe for writing purposes, if that were to happen in the next chapter, it will be William. And he'll probably awaken and fight and buff Yuno. Maybe not in this chapter, but next. Also, plus it's possible to leave it as a cliffhanger or something like that. Also, maybe the Golden Dawn will join the fight, like all the members, led by Yuno, showing up to help the overwhelmed Yuno. Overall, next chapter will be interesting, and we might even witness the captains getting back on their knees again. But it's hard. They're probably down for the count for the moment being. Like you saw all of their facial expressions. You saw Nell's facial expression, Nozel, Dorothy. So they three are probably down for the count. Even though we didn't see Charlotte's facial expression, so maybe she's still able to operate against Lucifero, also Fugurlin and Miliona. So yeah, it's still like there is possibility for them to awaken, but I think they already showed, I'm not gonna say enough, but respectable stuff. Even though I didn't enjoy it, but nonetheless they showed some respectable stuff. Again, I'm only saying maybe because again this is speculations. I'm not here to state like this will happen. No, this is just speculations. And this is what most of the speculations channels actually fails to do, which they cannot add the word maybe. And when you add the word maybe, it gives context that you are actually speculating, not stating facts. I'm not stating facts. Some will happen, some will not. Like my other speculations, some happened, which was actually not that big of a deal because it's general stuff. It's really general stuff. Like you say, like humans breathe oxygen, or like, well, this dolphin will just go on for a swim, something like that. It's not that big. Like I said, maybe Lucifero will be angry in the next chapter because of Asta attacking him or stuff like that. Yeah, it was pretty obvious, to be honest. It was pretty obvious. But the problem is that the speculation channels should just stop saying next chapter this will happen. Comment in the comment section if you're angry. If you hopefully YouTube bring back the dislike button. I really hate leaving like I want some backlash, if you know what I mean. I want to see the dislike buttons more than the like buttons. It's quite sad, to be honest, but that's alright. Well, see you, have a nice day. Hopefully the next chapter will provide us with some good paneling. Maybe some panels like the fight with Megukula. Come on, it was majestic.